welcome to the Intimate Talks interview series. I'm Asi Efros, and our special guest today is Bok Goodall, a creator behind a UK-based brand, Miss A London. Hi, Bok. So nice to have you with us today.
Hi, Asi. Thank you for having me.
Oh, such a pleasure. So, tell me about Miss London. What was the reason that you started creating this very special brand? And tell me a little bit about the brand.
Okay, so the brand is aimed at the transfeminine community, so trans women, anyone who falls under that umbrella, really. I've worked in the lingerie industry for 20 years, more than 20 years maybe, and I've always sort of thought, oh, it'd be great to do something for that customer because I never really saw anything that that wasn't fetishized, that wasn't very basic. I've got lots of friends within the community. And so it was always something I've thought about for a long time. And then about 5 years ago, I just thought, oh, yeah, let's do it. And just before lockdown, so perfect timing, of course, I started work on the brand. And the brand is named after a friend of mine who is Win Austin, who you will see in all the photographs. She's always in my pictures. And so that's why I called it Ms. A. And everyone used to and still does, a lot of people call me Miss B. So we were always like Ms. A and Ms. B. So yeah. So it just felt that something was missing. And when the more research I did into what was available, it really felt like there was nothing that was true kind of solutions or lingerie for this customer. And I did say to Win, I'm going to make you some lingerie one day. And I think she thought I was actually going to sew the lingerie. So she was like, no, you're okay. I'm fine, thanks. And yeah, so, it's something we've talked about for a really long time. And I'm pleased that I managed to start something.
How many collections have you already developed, and where are you currently with the brand?
So there's one collection so far. When I started and I went to make samples, we were all very excited. The factory were excited. And then I said, can we make samples? And they said, yeah, of course. What size? So her size, Wynn's size, what size is she? And I was like, what? I don't know. And then it became very clear that no sizing existed. There was nothing that existed for this customer to actually buy clothing even or lingerie that was designed to fit their body type. So we sent off Wynn's measurements to the factory. They ignored them because they thought this is all wrong. And they sent back what they thought we were asking for, which was, of course, completely wrong when it arrived. So we had to start the whole process all over again and say, just follow what we've asked you for. And in the meantime, I started looking into where we could find the sizing information because I thought it must exist. So I contacted the British Standards Institution, who cover standards for everything, not just clothing sizing. And they came back to me and said, there's nothing that exists globally. So we would love you to join our committee so that you can provide a voice and say what you might need, what measurements you might need to take to make this sizing exist. So then that became a bit of a mission. And I've spent the last 4 years measuring trans women up and down the country. I've had people from Australia sending me their measurements, people in the US. I realized there were measurements I needed to take that aren't considered in the standards because no one's created a standard for trans women. So there's lots of measurements that we don't need to take ourselves, but for a trans woman, it's an important measurement. So I have fed back to them, oh, I'm taking this measurement, I'm doing this, and I went to a meeting a couple of weeks ago, and some of the measurements that I have said I need to take are now being put into a standard, which means that now, and it isn't saying it's for trans women, it's just that they're added to a standard, which means that now trans women, then, there'll be more people able to create sizing that fits them because now those particular measurements are part of the standard, which is then global, which changes sizing. So that's really exciting and really validating that it's, that it's happening.
So you changed the course of intimate apparel industry,
A
basically.
tiny, tiny bit. So there's a couple gone into a new standard, into a standard that already exists, and they've added a couple of the measurements that I've specifically spoken about for trans women, which is incredible,
It's
really.
incredible. It's a huge win. And
Yeah, huge.
congratulations.
Well,
I
thank you.
think congrats are in order in this situation.
It's just amazing to see that such a huge global organization is willing to actually take that into consideration and make a change to something that's existed for a long time and just drop in those extra measurements and not done it in any way that's like a big fanfare or anything. It's just they will now be part of the standard for creating bras. So that's there now.
Exactly. No, but it changes the course of history. And I don't think it's just in measurements. I don't think it's just in intimate apparel. It's another, I don't know, it's another right that
Yeah, absolutely, yeah.
transgender women have now. Yeah, it's the right to have the clothes fit. Oh my God.
Absolutely, which we should all have anyway. That should just be a right, we should.
Right, exactly.
So yeah, so.
Absolutely. Well, congratulations.
Oh, thank you, Asi. And so the question you asked me was how many collections? So there's one collection because I wouldn't go ahead without having the sizing piece in place because that felt like the most important thing to get right first. So now we're at the position where there's one collection, a very tight collection of 5 solutions pieces, 2 bras, a dress, which we call a magic dress because it is quite magic, a bodysuit, and a pair of knickers. And so that's kind of where we are at the moment. And then on the base of that, we will grow and add more styles.
That's amazing. Yeah, I saw your collection, your pieces at Curve New York, and they are stunning beyond belief. And not just
Yeah.
visually, they also contain so much of work that's inside. It's like construction and
Yeah.
workmanship and design details. I was absolutely amazed. It's
Thank you
gorgeous,
so much. Thank
absolutely
you.
gorgeous. But you
When I
also,
show
yeah,
people, I show them the inside because that's where really all the work is and where the difference is to anything else that exists.
absolutely. Well, let's talk about this. Let's talk about why there has to be different details on the inside and outside, maybe, of the garments for this community.
Well, obviously the body type is different to cisgendered women, so there's a difference. Measurements different, shoulders are wider, usually torsos are longer. So there's lots of things to take into account that are different between lingerie sizing that exists and what I'm doing. It's about creating the most feminine silhouette that we can create. So the garments all pull in the waist. They all have pockets so that you can pad them or not pad them. It depends entirely on the wearer. Everything's kind of made to trick the eye a little bit. So straps are wider and in a position where it makes the shoulders look narrower. It's just about creating the most feminine shape that we can, but making it very comfortable so that the wearer is comfortable all day long, making the wearer feel safe so that they know that they can wear these garments and they're totally safe in them. And it's about social transition. So you're able to transition and go out socially, with a feminine shape and feeling comfortable and safe, wearing one garment, whereas lots of trans women at the moment may wear 4 or 5 garments to do the same job that I'm trying to do with one, so that it's all about being comfortable.
So you did enormous research, I feel, into sizing for one, and also into the uncomfortabilities that trans women encounter when they're going through transition. And you've eliminated as many of these uncomfortabilities as you could while designing your pieces, correct?
Yes, trying to, yes. Yeah.
It's wonderful. And so besides the this problem with the factory, what other problems have you encountered?
Obviously, sizing was the first issue that I faced. And so I think I've worked my way through that, and it's taken a long time. Originally, I discussed maybe doing digital scanning to generate, the measurements and the sizing, and that was purely down to funding that I couldn't afford to do that, and I tried to raise funds through grants and things, couldn't. And in the end, that turned out to not be a bad thing because I'm asking women to do such an intimate thing and to trust me and be in a space with them that is such an intimate space, especially during transition when maybe you're not comfortable with your body and there's dysphoria. And so me actually physically taking measurements just one-on-one worked so much better than digitally scanning. So that worked out for the better. I think it's a very political collection, really, even though it's not intended to be, but looking at the way the world is at the moment and things especially that are happening in America at the moment with the trans community, this is very political because we're saying this is something it shouldn't be a big deal. It should just be, every day, but this has to be mainstream. And so I think we all have to stand up as allies with the community and say, this has to work, this and lots of other things, obviously. So politically, it's difficult because you're trying to do something and people are scared to get involved, perhaps, with what you're doing. I would love to collaborate with a large brand because I feel that then they would be able to really make this mainstream. I mean, you've seen the garments, Asi, so you know how much work's gone into them. So you can imagine they're not going to be cheap.
Right. They're
I would love
incredible.
them. I
Yeah.
would love them to be so affordable that every trans woman, everyone who's waiting to have surgery, everyone who's on a list somewhere trying to make these decisions, so that they could all afford it. That's the goal. It's not just about making expensive garments. It's about making something that really works for a community that are really overlooked and marginalized. So I think the political side is difficult because a lot of the brands that I approach, in the beginning, they're like, oh my God, this is amazing. This we should do, we need to do this. And then they go very quiet. So that's very difficult. And the main thing that I face really is investment. I have to now raise investment because I've bootstrapped this to the point where I can't afford to keep doing it on my own any longer. So now I'm in the process this year of raising investment.
Absolutely. No, I hope that this interview will shed light on how amazing your collection, how needed your collection is. And I can truly say that I have not seen more well-designed collection, even for women, in a very, very long time.
Thank you. So I
And
know you wanted it for yourself when you saw it in New
yes,
York.
I saw it. It's incredible. It's exquisite, and there's so many facets to it. And as a designer, I of course react to proportions,
Mhm.
and they are perfect. There is this ingenious perfection about, first of all, everything you do, but this collection in particular, and it's of course in black, which is very luxurious and elegant. Of course, you see me.
You
So
can have any color as long as it's black.
yes, but also it's made with love for people
Mm,
because, as women that go through breast cancer and then they have the surgery and they end up with a lot of pain and
mhm,
scars, and they're always looking for something that would envelope their body and ease their pain. your collection already has this beautiful soft padding in it, and the softest straps. You've thought about pretty much everything. So it's therapeutic because I think it's perfect for women that just gone through surgery, through
Yeah.
transition. And it will also, like you say, will ease because it's so elegant, and it just um, enhances the body proportions and shows it in the most amazing way, is also very therapeutic for the mind.
Mm. Mm.
So I think that more we talk about this collection, more people see it, they will discover so much more than just a lingerie collection.
Thank you so much.
Oh my God.
Yeah. No,
Um,
I'm very proud of it. It's very special. Um, it's very emotional because I've had so many conversations with people who are like, oh my God, if this existed 30 years ago, it would have changed my life. And, and just that, yourself, if you wear a bra and it's uncomfortable, the
yes,
first thing you do when you get in the house is that bra's coming straight off. It's
so
like,
true.
you don't want to be in discomfort. So imagine you're putting on garments every day that aren't made to fit you.
Yeah.
All day you're uncomfortable. The first thing we put on is underwear and lingerie, bras, whatever we wear. That's the first thing we put on every day. So imagine going through the day and being that uncomfortable all day. And also if, trans women's breasts are in a different position. So imagine wearing wires that are now pushing on breast tissue that you've either had surgery to create or you've grown with hormones, or it could be dangerous as well. So it really is about being comfortable and keeping everyone safe.
And I think when we talk about comfort in this way, it's also about confidence.
Yes,
You
absolutely.
know, it's just, and I know how nice underwear, and especially bras,
Mm.
boost your confidence. If you wear something amazing that fits you, that you put something on like a dress or a top and it looks good, you are confident. You're
Yeah,
comfortable, you're confident, you're ready to take on the world. And completely opposite happens when you feel pain. The wires are not in
yeah,
where they should be. The underwear is digging in. The way they feel, our underpinnings, basically determines how we feel throughout and what we do throughout the day.
absolutely,
Yeah.
absolutely. And also for younger, there's a lot of younger trans women who are, I've been contacted by parents of kids that are maybe starting college or university, like, in their late teens,
Mhm.
and parents saying this will change how she is able to go through the rest of her education because she'll be able to wear something that she feels that she can transition socially and everyone will accept her as female and she's not in any discomfort or pain. So it is, yeah, hopefully, but collaborations will make that happen more because that will mean that younger people can afford to buy it.
Absolutely. Is there any advice you want to give potential buyers or like specialty store buyers on how to display your collection, or any type of advice for better distribution?
I think everyone in the industry has this customer, whether they're a brand or a store or a buyer or an e-tailer, everyone has this customer, whether they know they have it or they don't admit to having this customer, but every single person has this customer because, of course, trans women are buying underwear and lingerie every
Mhm.
day. Um, at the moment, when I was at Curve New York, I was fortunate enough to meet just amazing women who love this and work with trans women and really offer a safe space to trans women so that they can go in and get fitted. And um, so there's a couple of people that I've given samples to try on people. Um, there's an amazing store in Atlanta who Livy Ray and Molly is just like my hero. She's incredible, and she works with this community day in, day out. And she is hopefully going to be the first American stockist, really, when it happens, because she's just out there doing this every day, trying to make it work. There's stores in London that I'm working with. So I'm really trying to supply people samples at the moment so that they can fit them.
Mhm.
We'll get wearer trials and get everyone's feedback and see if there's any other changes that need to be made during this time until I'm in a position to either place orders because people have placed orders with me, or I'm in a position I've got investment and I can start placing orders, or I'm collaborating with someone. So at the moment, it's still very much trial. But if people are interested, they should absolutely get in touch with me. And I'd love to speak to everyone. And I just want this to be out there for people. I want people to be able to have it and make their life easier.
Wonderful. I hope that will happen. So, what are your plans?
So there's lots of interesting, exciting things. Swimwear is obviously, a development that's happening. Where I've done the styles that I've done, most of them cross over into swim anyway. So
I was just about to say
yeah,
that.
so that's something, that we're looking at doing samples on. And then obviously, once this is in place and we know the sizing works, then I can start looking at doing some true sort of lingerie designs that aren't just solutions pieces that do the same job, but that maybe are a little bit lacier or,
Yes,
something, because obviously we all want a little bit of lace sometimes.
of course. Of course. So, have you received any feedback? What are trans women saying about your pieces?
So everyone that's tried it has given very honest feedback, because there's things that I've changed because they've said, oh, if it did this, it would make my life complete. So
Mhm.
changed it. Lots of the stores that I met in New York were just like, when do we get it? We've
Mhm.
got this customer, we want it. So it's very exciting because people do recognize that this woman's out there and they want to give her something.
So collection is absolutely loved and needed.
Yeah,
And another facet of this collection, and it's also wear out. I mean, pieces are so complete, and
yeah,
they're not sheer at this moment. They are
no,
also could be worn under sheer layers or
yeah,
with the jacket. So I think the collection has so many implementations in the
mm,
industry and very versatile.
yeah. I mean,
And
the dress, people will wear the dress as a dress without any doubt. And people that have got the samples, I've given some samples, as I say, and they're wearing those as dresses. They're not wearing those as underwear.
of
And then the
course,
bras, I've really tried to make it a very feminine, curvy shape. So you don't mind that being seen. It's still a solution, absolutely. It's a solutions piece, but it's not just a standard piece, I think. So everything's curvy and feminine. So you probably don't mind that being seen too much, like you say, under something sheer or under a jacket, even.
I
And
think
then
it
I
will
know
look
loads of,
absolutely
yeah.
stunning. Oh my God. I think it's you're calling it a solution. I feel like it's a red carpet solution, you know? It's one
Oh,
of those, yeah, absolutely luxurious collections with incredible shape. It's more than you give it credit for. And I know you are an amazing designer, and hence this collection the way it is now, but very modest. And I know designers are
oh,
usually.
thank you.
So yes. Thank you so much, Bok, for joining me for this interview and for your wonderful light that you share with everyone. And I wish you best of luck with your amazing collection and everything you do, because everything you do is sincere, very honest, very high level of design. And yeah, Yes,
Thank you
thank
so
you.
much, Asi. Thank you so much. Such a pleasure. And thank you always for supporting as well and being so. I mean, you've known of this journey I've been on since I started it,
Yeah.
and you've always supported it all along. And I can't tell you how much I appreciate that. So thank you so much.
Oh, my pleasure. Okay, bye.
Bye. Bye.
Thank you so much for watching. And if you find this content useful, please like the video, subscribe to the channel, hit that notification bell to see more videos from Intimate Talks interview series. I'm Asi Efros. Thank you so much for watching.